So there's this powerful U.S. naval force. Some are calling it a kind of ghost fleet, and it's reportedly on the move, operating just over the horizon. To really understand what's happening, we need to break down its core component, the Marine Expeditionary Unit. The whole story kicks off with these reports of a second U.S. Marine force, maybe deploying near the Strait of Hormuz, one of the most critical maritime choke points on the entire planet. But why is this specific force such a big deal? What makes it a potential game changer? Well, the official word on this deployment is a little murky. It's being described as credible but not fully confirmed. So what we're going to do is use what we know about military doctrine to unpack what this force is, how it actually operates, and what its presence would really signal. All right, let's get right into it. What exactly is a Marine Expeditionary Unit, or MEU, as you'll hear it called? Think of it as the self-contained world of military power. It is so much more than just a ship. And its power, well, it starts with its most formidable weapon. Meet the F-35B Lightning II. Now, this isn't just any old jet. This is a stealth fighter, loaded with advanced sensors. And get this, it can take off and land vertically. That one single capability completely transforms the ships it operates from into what are basically mini-carriers. It lets them project serious air power anywhere in the world without needing a massive supercarrier anywhere nearby. So at its heart, a MEU is a rapid response force. We're talking about 2,200 Marines, always ready to fight tonight. It's basically the Swiss Army knife of military power. Totally self-sufficient and designed to launch really complex operations directly from the sea. But here's the thing, a MEU never works alone. Its real strength comes from a three-ship team. First up, you have the LHA or LHD. Think of this as the air base. It's launching the jets and running the whole show. Next is the LPD, which we'll call the workhorse. It's carrying the Marines and their landing craft. And finally, you've got the LSD, or the heavy lift, the ship that delivers the tanks, the artillery, and all that other heavy gear right into the fight. So, how does this team actually deliver its punch? Well, the workhorse and the heavy lift ships, they're not just taxis. They have these huge internal bays called well decks that can actually flood with water. From there, they launch vehicles like this, the LCAC hovercraft. It can carry a 60-ton battle tank from way over the horizon and put it directly onto a hostile beach. That right there is the definition of projecting power ashore. Okay, so now we know what a MEU is. But remember, the rumors are about two of them. So why two? Well, that's where we get into some really interesting strategic logic, a concept they called the hammer and shield. See, with two MEUs, military planners can split their roles. The first one acts as the shield. It's the forward contact layer sitting right inside the Persian Gulf, ready for immediate response, ready to protect convoys. The second MEU, that's the hammer. It's the control layer, positioned further back in the Arabian Sea, ready for deep strikes and controlling the entire theater. And here's how they'd work together, say, on a convoy mission. The hammer, MEU-2, provides air cover while the convoy gets itself together. As the convoy enters the dangerous street, the shield, MEU-1, takes over for close protection. Now, if there's an attack, MEU-1 reacts instantly, while MEU-2, the hammer, strikes deeper targets to stop any follow-on attacks. It's just seamless, layered security. So what does this actually look like in practice? Let's walk through a hypothetical 48-hour playbook and see how this force would respond to a crisis moment by moment. Okay, the clock's ticking. In the first 6 hours, the air-based ship launches F-35s for surveillance while the raid teams get ready. Between hours 12 and 24, as a threat appears, those F-35s can do a show of force, while helicopters from the workhorse ship launch Marines for direct intercepts. By the 36-hour mark, the whole force can shift to offense, striking coastal targets. This squeezes the response time from days down to mere minutes. It gives commanders incredible flexibility to either de-escalate or ramp up the pressure at a moment's notice. And this right here is the real game changer. The key insight is huge. A dual MEU force doesn't just defend a convoy. It completely changes the mission from a purely defensive act into a proactive system for eliminating threats before they can even cause harm. Okay, so beyond all the hardware and tactics, what does deploying a force like this actually signal? What's the message being sent to both allies and adversaries? Let's read between the lines. First off, the biggest message is endurance. A force like this isn't for some short-term crisis. It's built for sustained, long-term operations. It signals a deep concern for the security of shipping lanes and a strategic pivot toward a much more flexible posture, one that can fight seamlessly on both sea and land at the same time.
But, and this is really important, we have to talk about what this deployment does not signal. This kind of force is not an automatic sign of a big, large-scale ground invasion. It's built for raids and rapid strikes, not for long-term occupation. The posture is completely consistent with a strategy of deterrence and just being prepared for a whole range of contingencies.
Ultimately, if these reports are true, it represents a really fundamental shift in strategy. It's a transition away from just having a single force presence to having a deep, flexible, and layered amphibious capability. And I guess the real question is, how will other powers in the region respond to this new, more potent, strategic reality?